Welcome to Contract to Keys, Chronicles of Top Producing Agents, the podcast where real estate's best share what it really takes to go from a signed contract to a smooth closing and build a thriving business in the process. I'm your host, Brittney Kosev, broker, entrepreneur, and believer in the power of systems, service, and storytelling. Each week, we'll pull back the curtain on the habits, hacks, horror stories, and hard-won lessons from agents who don't just survive in the business, they dominate. If you're ready to elevate your career and close like a closer, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Today with me, I have Maria Perez out of Houston. She also serves the San Antonio market. Maria, why don't you give us the 60-second story? How did you get into real estate?
COVID is what started it. I was doing property management online. It was all virtual. And after doing Airbnbs and corporate rentals, I kind of got a little feel of what it looked like to sell houses, and I thought I'd give it a try. And now here I am 2.5 years later.
I feel like there's way more behind that story, but you had 60 seconds, so you did it.
I couldn't tell.
Maria, you're not only an agent, you are also a division leader at the brokerage. And when I first met you, you were in property management. And I was just moved by your personality, your story, your hustle, your heart as well. And I learned that you were in the Air Force. So can you tell us a little bit about your time in the Air Force and maybe how that's transitioned into real estate?
So I spent 12.5 years in the Air Force. I was a paralegal. So that's actually helped me a lot in real estate. It started with the property management because they had me as the eviction queen. I was the one who went to eviction court. So I was 13-0. I left my record with no losses. But it has gotten me to where I'm at now, and I'm able to utilize some of those skills that I learned. I am a certified paralegal. I got it before I left the military. So it helps.
Yeah. And you also manage a small portfolio of properties.
Yes.
For property management as well. So I'm sure those skills that you had from your previous career help as well in that.
Correct. Yep. I enjoy, and that's what I let my owners know, right? Like, hey, I've done this legal stuff, so you're in good hands.
That's amazing. So when you're selling real estate, what's your specialty? Why do clients love working with you?
Number one, my personality and my heart, like you said. My goal is always to help, whether it's let's finally get this house sold so I can buy the house of my dreams, or first-time home buyers buying their first home. I walk everyone through the process as if they're brand new each time, just to make sure that they feel comfortable with me and they're happy with the results at the end.
I think that so many agents lose that skill. You know, we become almost so seasoned to the point where we forget what it's like to go through the transaction for the first time, or even just like the second time if they've already done it once, but now they're doing it again. So many nuances to this. So I think that that's an amazing thing, that you really break it down and you walk them through it.
Correct.
In your business, do you have mostly sellers, buyers, or are you a mix?
I'm a mix of sellers, buyers, and investors, believe it or not. Investors, because they've seen what I've done. They've seen the houses that I've been able to sell that are more investor type. So they love calling me to either help them purchase one or to list it for them after they work. I do like working with buyers. I love that process, the journey to home buying. But selling, as long as they listen to me, I think we're in good hands.
Isn't that always the kicker, though?
Right.
Children, clients.
Exactly.
Why don't you tell us about a client's success that still makes you smile?
So it still makes me smile because it was recent. We're about maybe 3 weeks in, but they're out-of-state clients, and they came down for just 2.5 days. And so we had all these houses lined up to look at, and they were going to pick one, but I know they weren't ready. When I got the phone call, I think we're ready to make an offer. I knew they weren't, but they just felt bombarded because they weren't going to be able to come out here again until the move. And so they knew everything else was going to be left on me. And we did it. We left after the second day, and I let them think about it, go, sleep on it. And they woke up the next morning, and we went and looked at more houses, and they felt better after that. And so they picked the right house. We finally closed, and they're happy. They're actually going to be out here tomorrow,
Oh, that's
reaching their home.
awesome.
Yes.
Let's shift from real estate for a second so people can
Mhm.
get to know you better. Finish this sentence. When I'm not selling houses, you'll find me.
Watching the Golden Girls.
I love it. I would have said at the beach or on vacation.
No.
I love it. Who's your favorite Golden Girl?
Sophia. I love her spiciness all the time. So
I love Blanche. I feel like I'm a young Blanche.
you're a young man. Well, she thought she was young too, right? So
No, you're right. That's okay. I'll take it. So you, like I said to the audience earlier, you are a division leader at BK Real Estate,
Mhm.
the brokerage that I own. What originally drew you to BK Real Estate?
Mindset. That's honestly it. It was the mindset calls that we have on Monday. The title that was called it was called on the day that I joined was limiting beliefs. And I had just had the conversation with my son the night before that we needed to do something. We both did. He was in Germany and I was in the States, but we're letting ourselves letting everything, kind of set us back. And after that call with you on Monday, we felt like that was my sign to join.
That's
So,
amazing.
yes.
And I think that the mindset is a big piece of our culture at the
Oh,
brokerage because I'm a big believer in it all starts in the mind before you can go out there and write a contract or
mhm.
hand the keys off. It all has to be right here in your head
In your
first.
head.
And
Yes.
so, what's one word that captures BK's culture for you?
Mindset. I mean, I have to use that word again, honestly, because if we're not in the right place in our heads, nothing seems to work, right? You have to be in that right mindset for everything to work out for you. So, yep.
I agree 100%.
Hmm.
Okay, let's go back to real estate for a bit. Not that mindset isn't, but let's talk strategies. What's your favorite way to generate business when things are kind of slow? How do you get some stuff filling up your pipeline?
Just calling back to those that maybe I've had them in a nurture pipeline and seeing where they are, and talking to other friends that I haven't spoken to in a while, right? And just saying, hey, do you know of anybody, or are you ready? I've had friends that I have helped, and hey, my aunt wants to call you because she wants you to help me. So just having those conversations, even when you don't want to, just having those conversations actually end up paying off. I picked up two from Facebook. They seen the work that I've been doing, and so they private message me and like, "Hey, can you help me?" Of course.
That's amazing. And we talk all the time about social media and its
Mhm.
benefits, but it's like when people see you out there moving for your clients, success following, they want to be part of it. That builds authority, right? What's one thing that you think new agents need to be doing, or what's a common agent pitfall that new agents have when they start off in real estate?
So a lot of them is not making time to do the things that they need to, right? Time management. When I worked at a high school and with my kids, time management is crucial. Time blocking, saying, hey, I'm going to set an hour to make phone calls. And some of these agents, they're just kind of sitting around twiddling their thumbs, like, do, what do I do? And you're not going to get anywhere by doing that. Time management and time blocking are crucial in this business.
Yeah, and it everyone talks about massive action and that's important, but
Hmm.
you can't wait for you to have some inspiration. You've got to block time to
To do
take
it.
those steps, right?
Hmm. Correct. Yep. If you don't, it's kind of hard because then you're just waiting to see what the next step is. If you already have it written down or blocked off on your calendar, then you know exactly what you need to be doing.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Um, think about one of your hardest transactions, and I have a feeling I know what it is because I might have helped you with it. But on your hardest, toughest transaction, what's a lesson that you learned from it?
Always talk to your broker. Keep your broker updated with everything that's going on. But knowing that you haven't done anything wrong and then just talking it over with your broker to help guide you through that toughest transaction helps a lot. Because I literally was at the point where I remember calling you and say, please help because I feel like I'm going to jump off a ledge right now. It was just
You don't
that
call me
crazy.
unless it's important either.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get it. I
Yeah.
think that agents try figuring things out on their own, which is good, as you
Mhm.
should. But I don't think I gave you any advice that you already weren't processing. It was more of just a sounding board and keeping me in the loops. Because sometimes when you bring in your broker, to the other agent, it's
Uh-huh.
like, oh, she's serious now,
Yeah. Yeah, and
almost.
things got done. It got done. And you're right. I knew the answers. I just needed some backup so that I knew, hey, my broker knows what's going on. My broker knows what I'm saying, sending. So having you, rally behind me on that one just made it a little bit easier for me and not jump off a ledge like I wanted to do.
Yeah, and just for the people listening who don't understand, Maria had basically a double contingency happening.
Mhm.
And so she had one deal that needed to close so that the next deal could close, and the agent on the go-between deal that needed to happen for the dominoes to fall was not doing what he needed to be
No.
doing.
Yeah, he
And
wasn't communicating.
yeah, and I think that might be honestly the biggest lesson for the new agents listening to this is communicate, communicate, communicate.
Correct. Yes, I completely agree with that one.
Yeah. So what keeps you motivated? You obviously are great at time blocking. You know the skills, but is there a book, a podcast, a mentor that other people should plug into so that they can get that motivation, that inspiration, the tools, whatever it is?
So I know before I said I would start with Atomic Habits, but I have to backtrack and say Miracle Morning. Miracle Morning started my routine. Atomic Habits helped me create those positive habits. And then I would say Ninja Selling to help with sales. But
Yeah.
those would be the three books that I would recommend in that order.
And that's great because it's back to the whole mindset thing. If you start your morning correctly, you're gearing
Yes,
yourself to success to build those good habits, atomic habits. So then you can go use the ninja selling skills in
exactly.
action,
Yep,
right? I love
exactly.
that. If you could rewind to day one, what's something you would have done sooner?
I joined BK. when I when I got my license, because in all honesty, I feel like that's where it all happens for me. So I stayed with the brokerage that I was with, thinking that I would be able to manage properties and sell. But that's not what they had in mind for me. They just wanted to give me properties to manage. And so I had two transactions with them, and I knew that I could do more and I could do both. I'm doing it now.
Yeah.
But yes, I would say join BK a lot sooner.
It's funny. I obviously want every agent that wants to be with us to be with us, but I kind of like it when they've been somewhere else first
Yes.
so they can see how different we are. It's hard to explain culture and mindset and the family that we have
Uh-huh.
if you've not been somewhere else first.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I tell everyone, well, you can pick the big names, right? Because that's usually what people like to do. But you still have to put the same amount of work that you are going to put in a small brokerage. You have to do it with a big one. With a big one, you're just a number. With a small one, I feel like everyone's more close knit and family oriented. Makes it a lot easier to do the work that you need to be doing.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So, wrapping this up, what's next for your business the rest of this year? We have half a year left. What's next for you?
So I have created a team for San Antonio, which I'm super excited. I haven't done the official announcement yet, but it's coming. We're getting our photos taken and stuff. But it's kind of to give myself a little free time. I do a lot of driving between Houston and San Antonio. And so having a team in San Antonio will cut some of that off for me so I can focus more on Houston and doing what I need to do here.
That's amazing. You're going to have to come back on and share lessons as you've started your team
Yes.
because being a team lead is different from being a division leader. And I'm super excited to see you as a team lead.
Thank you. Yes, I'm excited too. And they are as well for some reason. So,
No, no, of course they are, is what you should say. Of course
yes.
they are. How can people get in contact with you if they want to follow your success, if they want to see what you're doing on social media? How can they find you?
So on Facebook and social media, it's either Maria Isabel Perez, my full name, or Maria I. Perez. My name is very common, so I have to use the middle name to kind of stand out just a little bit. And you can find me
Very
on Facebook,
common.
Facebook and Instagram.
I love it. So find her on Facebook, Instagram, follow her wins, her successes. And there's so much to learn from Maria. We didn't really even touch the surface of how much she brings to my company, to the agents that she leads, to the team she's about to start, to her clients. You
Yes.
are just such a phenomenal woman, a great leader, and
Thank
a
you.
dear friend.
Thank you.
If you found value in this conversation, do me a favor, subscribe, leave a review, share with a fellow agent who's ready to level up. That is a wrap for today's episode of Contract to Keys. Stay plugged in on the trainings, events, all the things that we talk about at BK. It's bkrealestatetx.com, and get connected. Until next time, keep pushing, keep closing, and remember, every key you hand off started with just one great conversation.